All right. All right, so our first agenda item is our neighborhood minutes. Right now we have 1 minute that have not been approved. Those are the April 2024 neighborhood minutes. Does anybody have any comments about those minutes? Yes, Bev.
A little clarification. I think, if I remember correctly, whenever Tony asked for the funds, the 1250, that was for all the new completes, not just the time. Yeah, it was for the whole series. It was for the whole series. That's my understanding. But
That's
yeah,
correct.
I would look at it.
Yeah, no, that's all right, and that is true. Thank you for catching that, Bev. We will make sure that gets edited in when we submit the approved minutes. Thank you so much. Is there any motion then to approve with that edit?
I so moved. Second.
I'll second, third.
Okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. And anybody abstaining? All right, great. Those minutes pass. Moving on then to public safety reports. We have somebody with us from the Birmingham Police Department. So if you would mind coming up here and speaking, that way the folks online could also hear you. You're welcome to stand in front if you want, but
It's okay.
okay.
So as you guys know, our system is still kind of wacky. Still unable to do certain things. As far as I know, a great majority has been brought back. We are able now to confirm warrants with the state. As far as city, still down. So if anybody has a city warrant, we're still unable to arrest someone because we can't confirm it. As far as in this area, I haven't had too much information about anything going on in this area, outside of the norm. No increase of anything. So with that being said, is there anything that you guys like to report?
Will we be able to get statistics sent to us? I know you said there's not an increase, but is it possible to get statistics for the area?
So again, with our system being down, we can't even access those.
Okay, got you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Are y'all still patrolling around Ross?
We are.
I mean, really often, so they'll know you're there and you'll stare.
So again, like today, we're extremely short staffed. So sometimes we don't even have an officer patrolling every single beat. Like my beat, I patrol Lakeshore. Sometimes they send me elsewhere. But I do know that the those little problem areas that people send to report, our supervisors, they tell us, they say, hey, go hit that area, citizens been complaining. So I have heard that. So we do have somebody going out there.
Okay, good.
Yes, ma'am.
No, this isn't every Glen neighborhood, but it seems that there was some kind of police operation in 5 Points South where the 3000 bar is. Do you know anything about that?
3,000 bars.
If,
Which
5
day?
Points South.
Sunday, I believe, the papers had started parking in the street. Instead of.
I think was at that wreck. Okay, yeah, 3,000 bars. So that was our Operation Night Rider. So they're basically going out to different areas trying to catch street racers. That's what that was. So you may see them there, 5 Points South. I know exactly what you're talking about. They patrol different areas on the weekend. It'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And they've been doing that for, I want to say, 4 weekends now. They've been going to different areas, trying to catch street racers. Any arrests they make, they do post on Facebook, which I believe the last one was 6 arrests and 6 cars seized.
Yeah, but they weren't street, but reported to me, they weren't street racing. They actually parked their cars in the street and go into the ball.
Okay, so as far as that, I don't know about that. But I know as far as police presence, that's usually what they're doing. As far as the other people, I can't speak on them.
Maybe it's a coincidence.
It could be. I don't know.
Maybe there were potential street races. Resting.
You know, where's the.
Race.
It's unknown. Yes, ma'am. Any other concerns?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for everybody who just came in and joined us. For anybody who didn't come, especially for folks who didn't come in this way, if you can, before you leave, just make sure to sign in on our attendance sheet. Fantastic. Thank you, Bev. All right. And then, we don't have anybody here from fire rescue or I think the library. We do have somebody from Community Resource Service Division. Ms. Melanie Martin, do you have any announcements for us today? And just please try and speak near the laptop.
Yes, I'm Melanie Martin, Community Resource Rep, City of Birmingham. And basically for the Neighborhood Association, I do the projects. And I think everybody know we had a disruption in service. So our systems are up and down, up and down. So like I spoke with the secretary, please send me your information or anything you need from me by text, via text message, 205-873-5904. And I do want you all to know, I did get the message that all your block white signs that you ordered are complete. I don't know if they've been installed yet, but they're all complete. So traffic sent me a copy of that. So I just added that to your file to let you all know that those are complete. And once again, when these two projects, when you get all the paperwork and everything that's needed for them, if you could go ahead and send them to me. And I spoke with Alice about a project that she sent me about, what is it, the little bookstore?
The little library.
The little library installation, and that's something that she's interested in, so she'll get me all the information and everything, and we'll get all the quotes and the prices for that, and we'll bring that back to the neighborhood. So other than that, Mr. Ross, that's it.
Sounds good. And just also, well, it hasn't been, nothing's in stone yet. I know it's something that
Yeah.
She's just
Alice was
talked
interested in.
around
It's
to us, yeah.
probably gonna be something that we put together as part of the beautification committee.
Not at that old store.
No.
No, the old store that's 5
This
points
could be
south.
like a cabinet, like a separate cabinet that could be installed in like lots of different.
Well, it's not like we don't have a library.
Oh, true. And I work at a library, so I know.
Well, I
Yeah.
used to work at the library too.
Yeah.
but I don't see the
Are you
need.
talking about that thing that Manbrook does and all those?
A lot of affluent neighborhoods
Well,
do those as well. Yeah.
I do, yeah.
I mean, I know we have a lot of foot traffic. I see a lot of people walking on my street, even 6th Street, it doesn't have a sidewalk.
Oh,
but
yeah.
yeah, a lot of people walk their dogs. I was thinking about, offering dog treats from the cabinet and like some books, but some things that would, be wanted, yeah.
You have a question, Ron?
Oh, I was just letting you know that, we also, well, obviously some things might come from the neighborhood at large that we do help. So we now have a beautification committee,
Okay,
that will be working on putting together projects. So we'll be making sure that everybody on the beautification committee is connected with you and be able to work through those
appreciate it.
projects.
right, until I'm back online completely, so you can reach me through my iPhone. Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Yes, would you repeat your telephone number, please?
205-873-5904. Yes, 873-5904. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Moving right along, we have next Counselor Abbott for City Council District 3 updates. Preferably, yes, ma'am.
Hi. Good to see everybody here today. This is just like a Baptist church. Everybody's sitting in the back. Anyway, tomorrow is council day. It's always council day, right, the day after our neighborhood meeting. Tomorrow's agenda has the most important thing that's on it is item number 1, which is the parking, changes to the zoning ordinance. My focus has been on trying to get a residential parking zone section so that when people start parking in front of people's homes who don't have driveways or garages or anything, that they won't find that they're having to walk 2 blocks to get to their own house, and find a place to park. That seems to be a very low priority for the VDOT people, which is formerly traffic engineering in the city. You know, the citizens are only important. It, seems convenient. So I'm hopeful that they are being truthful when they say that they're working on it. But they've been working on it for 3 years and we still don't have any proposal whatsoever. So I'm a little bit worried about that. But that is an item that's on tomorrow's agenda, and it's going to curtail parking so that there won't be as much parking, especially for businesses, and that's the reason us being next to UAB and St. Vincent's and places like that, that our neighborhoods will be the ones impacted by people looking for a place to leave their car all day. So this is just something we're going to have to deal with because my perception is it's going to pass. The public has had very little to say about it. I guess it hasn't happened to me yet. So once it happens to you, you'll know it when you can't find a place to park. So the rest of the agenda for tomorrow is pretty dull and boring. We're buying a lot of medical supplies. The police is getting they're getting some ballistic determination help. You know, there's some things on there that are not too exciting. We're buying a lot of stuff. We're buying a lot of furniture. But it's just for the average resident, I imagine the purchase of furniture for people at City Hall is pretty dull. So does anybody have any questions about anything that I might be able to tell you about? Yes, ma'am.
Has there been any decisions or action on the Red Mountain slide sign proposal that we did earlier this year?
Not a, yeah, I mean, I have hope, but, I haven't gotten anything out of anyone at City Hall. And it seems to me that's a relatively simple thing to do. But I think that the network disruption, as we're calling it at City Hall, has caused a lot of people to lose focus on their real jobs because of all the mess that the network disruption has caused. And I know, you know, with our computers and phones and everything involved in all of this, I'll have to admit it is definitely causing a lot of consternation. You know, people can't do their jobs the way they're used to. For instance, if you call 911, each 911 operator had like an array of like 3 different screens and online mapping. Well, online mapping is no longer available, so they have an array of nothing. And they're trying to do their jobs like writing things on pieces of paper. Well, after you get used to using a computer to do all your business, and all of a sudden you're having to write things on stacks of paper that you have to actually maintain so that later on when everything comes back, you can input it, or someone can input it into the computer system. So, City Hall we've had our challenges for quite a number of weeks now. We're still having challenges. And of course, online mapping is one of the best things that I think the city has, because you can go on there and find out who owns a piece of property, you know, all kinds of good, valuable information. You can see all the maps, you can turn on all the layers and see things you didn't even want to see. You can find out if people have permits to do what they're doing to their homes or businesses or apartment buildings. So you know whether they're legit or not, but you can't see any of that right now. You can't even see them now. So it's pretty sad. But they tell us that they are getting it straightened out. And I'm going to have faith that that is 100% accurate. And that everything's going to be better soon. So every time I say bad words about my computer and all the systems being messed up, I have to remind myself that it's being fixed. I just have to have patience. And I'm sure Melanie is working on her patience also. I haven't really met anybody who's happy. That didn't happen. Unless they've just retired. And they're probably pretty happy, unless they're not getting their retirement check because the systems are all screwed up. And the police department has been hit by, a lot of their officers are not being paid. And they have to go down to City Hall and get a paper check and go tote it to the bank, where most people used to have direct deposit and it would work. So there's just a lot of mess, but it's intermittent mess. It doesn't hit everyone. It just hits the really lucky. So any other questions?
Yeah, Counselor Abbott, I've heard such oblique references to the network issue that there is one, it exists, but like, what happened?
Well, we're not talking about it, and some of us don't know much about it. But what they told us was that the kind of people who cause these network disruptions, sometimes too much publicity causes them to get PO'd, and they like put all your stuff out on the dark web. I started to say the black web, and about the dark web, and sell it to whoever pops up. So there isn't anyone, especially not me, that wants to be involved in having that happen. So I'm sure someday, maybe the mayor will write a book. But right now, IMS, the city's IT department, they know as much as anyone and probably more than some about what's going on, but they're not just blabbing, which is good. We don't want people to blab. So no blabbing going on. Maybe a little gossip, but no blabbing. So any other questions? Oh, and one other thing, the cease resolution that the city council was requested to pass, I have completed it, and a minimum of 5 members of the councilors who have agreed to approve it. So I'm feel sure it will pass, but I sent it to a friend that runs the Jewish Community Center to make sure that I had not, stepped on any toes, because, we don't want to, we just want the war to stop and the deaths to stop. We don't want to offend anybody because there's just no reason to. So, so there's a few little changes that have been requested to what I did, and then I'm hopeful that the 5 people who said they would vote, by the time it gets to the council, there will be more than 5. And that maybe people who weren't in favor of it will change their minds. Because it's really a sentiment. It's not like somebody's gonna say, oh, well, the Birmingham City Council passed this, so we have got to do it. I mean, a few of us realize that that's, the way. I mean, we passed a resolution about Ukraine, and we see they're still being bombed, so nobody listened. But still, I think there's power in numbers, and the more cities, the more entities that speak out, I think it's found to have an impact. So, but that's it for me. So thank you. Unless somebody thinks of something else, I'll be here at the end of the meeting as well as the beginning.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right, so next up, our Board of Education report. So, yeah, that's the go on.
Oh.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, guys. My name is Mary Bone. Happy to be here. This is created by someone at the district. It's very colorful. Doesn't have much to say. But what is interesting is that this, in May, of course, everybody in our world is gearing up for the end of school and for graduation for high school. So we have about 1,000 kids who will be graduating. They will be graduating on May 22nd and 23rd, 23rd and 24th. at Bill Harris Arena, and it's, you know, back-to-back graduation, so it's a lot to manage, but we're excited about it. And, I was told that last year we had 50 million plus in scholarships awarded to the roughly 1,000 kids who graduated last year. And we anticipate it being more than that this year. And that's up from 2020 pretty significantly. Also, summer learning starts on June 11th. And it's time to sign up for that. And this will be a program where there is both remediation and acceleration, and lots of fun in this, and it'll be in every school. Yes. And this is of interest to you all. I hope on the back, you will see a picture of Pam Rogers, who is a counselor at Glen Elementary, who was selected to be the Alabama Counselor of the Year. So very excited about that. And you know, being that Glen Iris is such a big school and that they, have a very diverse population, her job is not easy. And so we are thankful to her for that. Today, I was able to participate in a luncheon for the 43 teachers of the year, who were, vetted at a lunch. It was very nice with their principals and others, and given awards because they were selected as the outstanding teacher of the year in each of their schools. So that was fun. And she was there and was also honored. I wanted to give you an update on the district support for the Glen Iris band that you all generously supported in the, I guess at the last meeting or the meeting before. It's my understanding that this district has been in touch with the band director and has agreed to, I guess, fix any of the instruments that he currently has and that are not in working order. It's a kind of a commitment we had. They've got an organization that they're going to bring in to help do that. So to the question about whether the district could support the match the $9,000. I'm thinking that this will go toward that perhaps, and we'll see what we have to do in terms of cost with to fix up the situation. So thank you so much for that, and we'll try to do our part. There's also been some conversation between our operations team and Glen Iris about the work that will go on to replace the trailers and to upgrade the playground. Let's see,
Did you know, they'll still keep the trailers, well, because they're playing, they're not where the band is.
They are. The band does practice in one of the trailers, yeah.
This one here?
The band does practice in one of the trailers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But eventually, it's my understanding that the trailers will be replaced as a permanent addition to the building.
Good.
And since the trailers are 9 years old or older, it's time.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention that, and Valerie, this is in part for you. I know y'all are working on your budget for next year, and a question came up about the support that the city gives Birmingham City Schools, and you all have given us $1 million each year for the last several years for our mental health programs. And so there's going to be a report at the committee of the whole on the 21st about your support, what it's done. Basically, the bottom line is we have used this money from the city to put a counselor in every school. The bulk of them has been spent for that. And so one of the things that's happened is now every school has a counselor, and the larger schools and the high schools have more than one. But one measure where this has made a difference is that in the 22-23 school year, as I reported to y'all through the years, the crisis team of counselors responded to 17 student deaths in 1 year. But in 2023-24, that was reduced to 7 student deaths or so far. and 2 faculty. So the numbers definitely better. The counselors have been actively managing all the social emotional learning programs. And that's hopefully has made a difference. Another thing that's happened is suicide prevention interventions have gone down significantly too. I didn't get it. But, so those are 2 measures where it has made a difference. And one of the measures that we, focused on is our college and career ready percentage. That's the number of students who graduate each year, that are prepared to succeed, either in college or career. There are a number of ways that's measured, very specific at state level. And, we, in 2023, last year, we had 81.29% of our graduates ready to graduate. I mean, with one of the measures that we can count that by. And we anticipate that to go up, and it's significantly up from like 65% in 23. So that's been rising. We of course want 100% should be the goal, and is the goal, but we're not there yet. So that is my report. Any questions?
The playground at Glen is in the same spot that it was in when I went to Glen, at least 100 years ago. There is still, after all these years, no protection for the children if they want to run out into the street. Why does Glen not have some kind of fencing to keep children safe? They didn't when I was there, but by now, somebody should have figured that out.
You know, I don't know the specific answer to that question. I do know that a group of people, including donors and interested parties, have been meeting with our operations team to talk about fixing up the playground. I don't know whether that includes a fence or not, but I'll find out. And I think that's absolutely fair. I mean, we should have a fence, and we should have had a fence a long time.
Yeah, after all these years, because it's not really a playground. It's just a side yard of the school. I mean, there's nothing there except dirt. But children who are out there attempting to play, they still can run out into 14th Avenue. You know, because part of what used to be the playground now has dumpsters and parking lot in it. So, you know, it used to be bigger, but it still was dangerous. And it still is.
Okay.
And there's just nothing,
Yeah,
nothing.
yeah. There's a playground there, just so y'all know, but it, no?
It doesn't look like a playground to me.
Well, there's play equipment in the center of the space between the cafeteria and the school. It might not be terribly visible from the street.
Where the garden is?
Yeah, behind the garden.
Behind the garden.
I mean.
Okay, well, I see children
In the
playing
same
on the
courtyard.
corner where 14th Avenue
Yes.
is. Now, 14th Avenue is what I'm talking about.
Okay.
There are children out there playing in that side yard or backyard, whatever you want to call it, near where the dumpster is.
Yes.
And there's still nothing to keep them safe. If they felt like running out in the street, then they could just forget.
That along and see what, feel like that's what they're working on. I don't know. Do y'all have any more information about that?
I may not be remembering correctly, but last year we did vote for a neighborhood allocation as part of that New Year celebration, wasn't there?
Yeah, but I think that was for the actual where the playground equipment is versus
Just that,
back
but not the
fence
14th
area.
Avenue spot.
I don't think so.
Okay.
That's
I'm
why I was
concerned about
confused.
that too, because, you know, I have a 4th grader there.
Yeah.
And I do see them playing a lot, and that is literally, so that door, that's the most rear door. And when students are walking instead of going car ride, that's where they pick them, where parents pick them up. So there's always multiple teachers there around 3 o'clock, you know, when those kids are ready to be picked up. So they do have a lot of monitoring right there. But then other times of the day, they are just running around the grass
Right.
And I can see, because I've looked a lot over this, like there's not, one teacher per student or anything. They throw a football, and the football gets thrown far enough, they might run into the rope to get it. So that's definitely all exposed, right?
All right, I'll check on that and talk back again about where we are. I'll leave this with y'all.
Thank you so much. All right, Brian here? I don't think I saw Brian Templeton. Okay. All right, well, that is done then with our government reports. So, with neighborhood projects, I mean, I know, Ms. Melanie already kind of touched on some of those updates. Do you have any other updates then for neighborhood projects outside of that?
And there's nothing for the band update on that, so. Let's see.
But like, do we have any updates related to the speed cushions or anything?
No, I mean, the last time that they said anything would be April or May. But it would be spring to get the 11th place south speed cushions in. And I don't have any new info on that, but it just now is May, so hopefully this will be the month they get slapped on the road and get done, but yeah.
And then I guess I do have one question, Melanie, I didn't think about it earlier is, do we have any timeline that we should expect for our neighborhood meeting signs to get approved?
No, I don't have a timeline. Like I said, that's part of the computer thing.
Yeah.
Getting that through and some, like I said, some process, like, not to have to see it, it's changed, but we know the key in the system or whatever. But now we have to do a paper thing to get them through.
Yeah.
So I can't give you the exact date. Like I said, some systems are coming up, each day, but that one has to come up with the financial part of it.
Okay. All right,
But
thanks.
as soon as I get something, I'll let you know.
That sounds great. I appreciate it, Ms. Melanie. For Southside Community Framework Plan, that went before the Planning Commission. It did not pass, and we don't have any updates. It was a 11-1 vote. It needs a minimum of 12 of 16. And I do not have any updates for what is happening next. So as soon as I have some, I will let y'all know. The PEP said they'll just be having a discussion. Did they reach out? Have they reached out to you since Planning Commission meeting?
Haven't heard one word out of them. And just so y'all will know, I don't want it to be a secret, I was the one voter that didn't vote for it. So I'm the no here. But they had interns go around and mark up the plans with what was on each piece of property. And there were a lot of errors made. And, they can blame it on the interns, that's fine, but they need to fix it. Because, and they only want to make the changes block by block. And of course, all of us know that some of our blocks are, residential, single family on one side, the other side of the block is totally different. So, anyway, but I have not heard from anyone, so I'm hopeful that we'll get, to talk. But of course, we have to go to our designated person in order to get permission to talk to anyone. So I guess maybe they have to get permission to talk to us.
I don't know, but I will definitely, that was Wednesday, the Planning Commission meeting. So it's been a couple days. We'll let everybody know whenever there's updates. Does anybody have any questions as it relates to that? Okay. Neighborhood committee reports. So this is probably the most fun thing on the agenda. So we can start with beautification. So Charles, either of y'all like to give your update first? Yeah.
So we volunteered to kind of help redo the Glen Iris sign as you come into Glen Iris from Green Springs Highway. And it's a sign across from the George Park. It had gotten overgrown and whatnot, so we decided to redo that, and Charles and I have already gone out and pulled all the plants that were around the sign. But our next step is to try and get someone to paint the sign, since there's nothing there and they can have free reign to move around it without any kind of hindrance or anything like that. So I guess we need to see if somebody in the neighborhood, it has that ability or knows how to paint this. Yeah, it's a metal sign, so, and it just kind of looks like it's kind of the sun has kind of just beat down on it and just looks a little worn.
It's that way.
I'm sorry.
It gets the western.
Right,
sun.
yeah, it does get the western sun, so it does get really hot.
Happy to volunteer to do it. I am not a painter, but I do lots of art things, and I do paint, but I'm not, I can go around the letters, My hand's not that shaky. I mean, I'm, if we can't find like a proper, like, little person to do it, I'm happy to like get up there with some black paint and freshen it up for sure. But I will not be offended if someone finds someone that's much more, green.
I can't remember what those signs are made out of, whether they're aluminum or iron. Is there any rust showing?
No, there's no rust showing.
Maybe they're aluminum.
Yeah,
Yeah, they hold it like they're aluminum, the flat portion.
Yeah, I just can't remember. We ordered them, but that was a long.
One thing you might could do is take a picture of it and put it on our Facebook and see if there's any artist or someone that might want to volunteer some time to freshen it up.
well, I think we've got a picture that we can post. We'll go ahead and post it on the
Okay.
page.
Great idea.
And see if we can get a volunteer that way. And if we don't hear from anybody, I guess in a week or so. We'll we'll come on home. So, and then after that's done, is trying to get plants put back into and around the sign. And so I know that there's a lot of gardeners in the neighborhood, and so, if anybody wants to donate any kind of plants, and we're trying to keep with non-invasive plants that are drought tolerant and native. I know that's a lot to ask. Yes, ma'am.
I would like to suggest that we plant iris. Since we're Glen iris and iris seem to be native, they don't seem to be invasive. And so it seems like it might be appropriate to ask people if they have any extra iris.
Mhm.
And then we could just get them because they do multiply.
They do,
Whoa.
and that's good. So, I guess we can put that on the neighborhood website as well, and.
Do y'all get any money for this? I mean, from us, or the city, or the government or something?
Not at this time, beautification has not proposed any money, a monetary request of the neighborhood association. If we get, I think some of our projects, we probably will, but at this time, we've gotten one, but depending, I guess, on response from the Facebook page, then we, the committee can decide if we need to reconsider.
But I think it should be an easy fix with as many people in the neighborhood that are gardeners. A lot of people have stuff, and it'll actually need to be something that can take the sun, like you said, it does get that sun. So it'll get pretty hot,
And you don't want it to grow,
too tall.
that's why this new miniatures.
And let's see. I think that's all for now, you know, once we get it painted and we can ask, you know, to have the plants donated and then we can plan on a day at a later time
Yeah.
to install the plants.
I know we can probably have this conversation as a committee later, but I was just trying to pull up like native irises. And I know there's at least, I'm sure there's probably others, but there's at least one native called a dwarf crested iris.
It would not do well there.
I think they definitely would do good on the sides, but don't the dwarf crested irises get like about this tall?
They're small, but I don't think they can take that much sun.
But you
Uh,
know, y'all, we need to keep in mind that irises only bloom a very short period of time. And we want it to look presentable for most of the year, right? Not that I'm opposed to that, because I think it's a great idea. But you want to put something out there that's going to stay green and pretty most of the year. That's just my suggestion.
Yeah, we were thinking of trying to do an assortment of plants, of some
Yes.
that are blooming, but it's kind of hard to have something blooming all year long, especially when it gets so much direct sun.
Sun, right, right.
But that's probably as much as I have to offer now.
Thank you. And then, did you have also an update you'd wanted to give the committee?
Well, for the beautification committee?
Yeah.
Come on up here, Carrie. Speak into the mic.
I don't know.
Or just speak really loud.
You're
My name's Carrie Sweet. If I can plug in our meetups, while I'm up here, if that's
Sure,
jumping too
yeah.
far down the line.
Go ahead.
Well, to finish off the beautification thing, I'm willing to do any painting that needs to be done, you know, it's just simple black paint. I think we can go around the letters and make it shiny. And then I think it'll be challenging, but I think it's possible to have something blooming there almost all year. I mean, there's plenty of options. I mean, look at their yard. I mean, there's always something blooming in their yard. So like, sorry to put you on the spot there. Yeah, I'm really excited what the beautification committee has to offer with that and some other locations around the neighborhood that could use some love and, you know, weeding. But to kind of pivot a little bit for our neighborhood meetings, just here to talk about May's meetup. It's gonna be next Sunday. No, not next Sunday. May 19th. Next Sunday's Mother's Day, so call your mother. And then, yeah, so it'll be the following Sunday, and there were a lovely flyer. This one's gonna be our summer kickoff. So in the past, we've done a big plant seed swap, and then we had some tie-dyes and tunes, and everyone came out and enjoyed some music and talked and made lots of t-shirts. And so for our next meetup, this is kind of one that we want to do a little summer kickoff to discuss the summer plans and ideas to keep in touch over the summer, because we didn't want to have the meetups during the super hot months. So after May, our first meetup is going to be in September. So this is just kind of to get us going, and we want to offer kite building and a bucket list for all of the things that we can do around the neighborhood and as neighbors and as a city, and like just to keep our, you know, our own going. And then we're gonna have some games and of course just a lot of talk and joyous.
Of
course.
You know, across from Donald's service station, and there's that little.
The
Who
triangle.
works there and who's in charge? I mean, I got told up with one woman when I offered, I said, let me give you some money. And no, it must come out of your front. She got real mad at me. Well, I can tell you, I ain't got no front yard. Oh, but I'll buy something, but who does that? And it looks like a stump there. It's awful.
What do you know, has to come to the yard?
Huh?
Doesn't have to come.
I offered to go and buy it, and the woman said, no, we don't do any ball. It has to come out of the yard. I don't know who she was. But there are a whole bunch of people digging that day.
I don't, was that on the neighborhood meetup day? Was that on the Sunday? Oh, so I'm just talking about just the Sunday meetups that we've had. It's just been one day a month. for the
Well, I know
last
that,
month,
yeah,
There's
But I
probably
just-
somebody just stopped.
must have, yeah.
but- Okay, all right.
I mean, must have been a dozen people digging and planning and doing all this stuff, and now you don't see it, so I assumed it was the city or us or somebody doing it.
It may have been part of the neighborhood. I know a neighborhood group has been doing a lot for the little triangles around the neighborhood. So it could have been them just,
That's sponsored.
so that may have been that.
That might have been Scott doing that, I mean, I'm not,
Scott,
yeah.
Well, Hope hasn't been able to do.
Yeah, but I think this was last year when they were doing it.
White Oak did the last one at the same Sunday that we had one of the meetups. He was the last one to clean it up.
Okay,
And Scott has also been here to clean it up. But there has not been any formal plantings that I'm aware of.
Thank you.
that's all I have.
Thank you. I'll just then for the beautification, I'll also just note then that right now there's 12 people that have signed up to be part of that committee. There's been 2 committee meetings. And we've identified, I think it's 6 different projects as like our priorities. And we've decided essentially we have like a kind of a committee, like a project chair for each of them. So that's included the Glen Iris neighborhood signs. So Charles and Ronald are kind of leading that. Accessibility playground, Marlise is going to be leading that project. And I'm also working with her on that. Marlise Delgado.
We have a little bit of information on the accessible playground. We've been harassing everybody who can find at City Hall, and Daryl finally called the mayor and just said, you know, we need for y'all to approve this because Park and Recreation put $800,000 in their budget request to do the accessible playground. So, you know, Daryl promised them that we would do some horse trading with them if they would, you know, approve it. And the mayor said, you will not get any pushback from me. Now, we have to interpret what that means, but Daryl took it to mean that they're gonna fund it.
Okay.
So it may be that we can all do a dance jig pretty soon, because it's going to be funded. Which would be fantastic, because we've only been trying to do this for what, 10 or 15 years?
It was at least 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But I called with Angela Williams and she told me that she was not involved in it and to talk to Charles Brundage.
Oh, gosh.
Brundage,
Yeah,
and
passed her on.
he has not called me back.
Okay. So the brief on that is Counselor Abbott gave me the contact information for the parks director. I contacted her. She had somebody else, this Angela Bennett, contact me back, left me a message. And then didn't respond back to me. And then it sounds like she responded back to you, but is now passing you off to another person. Okay, so.
Well, that's typical, but,
Yep.
we'll just work through it.
It sounds good.
I left a message for him on Friday and I'll.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you for that information, Counselor. And then Tony Delberto is leading up a sidewalk mapping project. So we're gonna try and map out all the sidewalks to the best of our ability in Glen Iris and use that to try and push for some sidewalk fixing. So keep a lookout for that sometime soon.
I would say that the maps are on the website with all the sidewalks marked on them that are supposed to get fixed, but I can't say that with certainty. They used to be on the city's website so that anybody could go look them up. Where they are now, you know.
I know he's attempted, he's tried to find some kind of, like, right now, we're just going off of Google Maps. I mean, you know, yeah.
The maps that were on the city website showed the ones that actually have been approved and should have already been renovated, but mysteriously didn't get renovated or replaced.
if you are able to get that information, which I know is its own issue trying to get, if you wouldn't mind sending that to Tony, that would be greatly
It may be
appreciated.
On paper, you know, we may find something in a drawer, there's no way of understanding, there's nothing mapping right now,
Right.
so. But
Good,
if we
that's
can
what-
find some paper, we will share it.
Sounds good.
Paper's good.
And then we've got a couple other, those are our four, I think, primary things. And then, we obviously are trying to support general cleanups as well. But we don't have a specific person sharing that at the moment. And then also looking into some stuff from out of the wild. Yeah, go ahead. You can give that update.
So sort of related to general cleanups, the disc golf board has said that they want to once again clear out George Ward Park for their spring cleanup, and they've scheduled that for May 18th, so that's Saturday. So if people happen to have that Saturday free, they could use the extra hands again. And I think Carrie, didn't you mention that you were looking for the folks to do closer to the that retaining wall with some George Ward, because there's a lot of brush and stuff over there. And I know they probably don't hit that because it's not where a hole is, but surely we don't.
I thought the city would get that. I thought they'd be like, hey, look, this needs to be done.
Yeah, looks like we just cut the grass and they don't do anything else.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll form another committee.
Brush cutting. And I figured, I mean, I might work that day actually, so I may not be there.
Okay.
I'll send Byron and do some work.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you first.
Teresa, do you have any updates you want to give about Block Watch or other Joyce Street area reports?
Yes. So can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Quite well.
Okay, great. So as Ms. Williams mentioned in regards to Neighborhood Watch, we have had several signs installed. There are a few issues with some of them, and where they were actually installed. So I'm capturing that information. I'm going to get that over to Ms. Ragland so she can work with the city to get those corrected. But really excited to have those installed. In regards to the art building, we've been pushing the owner to clean up the outside. He did cut the grass, if you've seen, but there's still more work to be done around the building. And I've had several people report to me, and I myself have seen this. There is an encampment that has spun up in the last 2 days under the pavilion in the back. And he needs to disperse this encampment. That's just not safe for anyone for them to be there. So we've let him know that. In addition, we've continued to see encampments set up around George Ward Park. And now there's one across from St. Elias parking lot to the left of Bessie Estelle Park. And I've been reporting this to Alana Melton, who works for the mayor and helping with the unhoused. So she's aware of that. And I've also let Miss Alice Williams know. Another thing that came to me this afternoon was an issue brought up around Green Springs Highway and the trash. So it looked like someone or a group must have picked up some trash and put in bags, but didn't maybe contact someone to pick them up. But there's still a lot of trash out there on Green Springs. And I would just ask I don't know, Rob, if you know who to contact to help with that, to get that handled. I'm not sure who did that work, but much appreciated, but it needs to be removed.
Yes, definitely do. Where exactly on Green Springs are those?
So it's from 21st to up to it's really not that far, up to like Homewood, where Oxmoor or Valley.
Okay.
It's not a very long spot where they're picked up, and it's just white bags with garbage, set aside. Someone had picked those up, which is great, but I would have thought someone would have come behind them to get it. So I don't, and again, I don't know why they came to me, but that's fine. I just wanted to mention that tonight.
Okay, we can absolutely contact, Public Works, about that.
Okay, that's all I have. Unless anyone has any questions.
Thank
I
you.
think the cleanup needs to come all the way down to Red Mountain Terrace. It looks like a landfill. Right in.
Are you talking about a cleanup as in like doing a cleanup event?
No, I'm talking about the city coming down and picking the garbage up.
Okay, so there's like, do you mind kind of saying exactly what's going on?
Red Mountain Terrace. All the way up to the hill on the mountain. Where the land or something.
Like Goodwill,
Yeah, on Goodwill.
up to Goodwill.
Yeah. Don Lupo, who works for the mayor, he's worked for several mayors. And, I don't know if he got in touch with Public Works. He promised me he'd have something done, that was 6 weeks ago.
Oh, so you're just saying instead of going from Valley to 21st, to go from Valley all the way up closer to Green Springs Avenue? Is that correct?
All the way down Green Springs Highway to Red Mountain Terrace, and maybe further.
Yeah, I would go to Green Springs Avenue, Rob.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
that sounds good. We can notify them.
Thank you.
Okay, I saw, oh, go ahead, Bev.
We skipped over one of the committees, tech and communications.
Okay. Tech and communications, we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, we've got 5 folks that are part of that.
Michael, you, Alice, myself.
Oh, because Lois is not gonna be able to be actively involved. But you're saying because Lois is not gonna be able to be actively involved, yeah. So yeah, we have 4 members and then 1 person who's volunteering on a limited basis about a specific item. So that's Michael McEwen, Bev, and then Alice and myself. And would you like to give a report on that?
Not really, I didn't bring the note, sorry.
We've just largely talked about how we want to be able to get more feedback from folks about what the best communication tools are for them. And make sure that we can do a better job, either whether that's creates, if we need to like expand something or any other ways that we need to make edits to ensure that folks are getting the communication that they need. So it's one thing that we want to discuss wanting to do. And then we also wanted to try and largely summarize a lot of what we had talked about, is be able to create some better structures and policies for the different pieces of tech and communications that we have, so that it will be in a place that we can, that additional folks can be involved in managing and administrating that, and B, pass that along, at the end of this year, to, anybody else who's trying to be involved with that. So is there anything else you wanted to?
Do we want to show like just a little bit of the website, just like.
That is right.
Edits and stuff?
Yeah. That's right. Bev did ask that we also do that. You want to use pull it up here, and then we can pull it up here, and I can screen
perfect.
share from here.
Amazing.
All right. So Alice can give a presentation about the website.
Just a very brief thing, it's already 7:37, so I just want to rush through this real quick. So the website is, glenirisnab@chum.com, and it will have the latest meeting info under this, section, and you'll be able to see an image of the upcoming agenda. And then below that, just some basic information about parliamentary procedure. And then you have the minutes that are here, the agenda again, for folks that maybe can't read the image. A little bit of parliamentary procedure info there, and then our citizen participation plan, which is the document that kind of governs how we operate and how the city operates with this. And that's on this page here. And I guess everything at the top, there's some kind of content for a lot of different things. There's also trash, brush, and recycling. So just basic info there. And then there's also a calendar, and the calendar will have a little more info than just what the emails might have. And it's all in one place, so you can kind of check what's happening on the, any given day, the routine things. So, yeah, that's really quick just to go over these things.
And you can also sign up for the newsletter, email
Yes.
newsletters
Yes.
from the site or either on the Facebook page.
Yes.
Which is, we're really, really encouraging folks to try to do this.
Yeah. We're at about a little over 200 people on our email list right now, and so that is definitely a huge thing we want to continue to increase. Thank you, Bev. Thank you, Alice.
Thank y'all.
All right, did anybody have any questions about that before moving on? Okay, cool. I saw Brian Templeton come in. Brian, do you have any updates you want to give?
Yes, sir.
Okay, does anybody have any questions for Brian Templeton related to UAB? All right, fantastic. All right, some announcements. First, we just know if anybody's, this is not in the neighborhood, but if it's over in Highland Park. So if anybody wants to help with the Highland Park Neighborhood Associations project, they have a volunteer opportunity on May 11th. They're working with the city to plant native plants in all of their medians. And they're doing their first 3 on the 11th. So if anybody is interested, that starts at 7 a.m.
They have a sign up. In fact, I'll go back to the website because I think I put the info for that in the bulletin.
All right.
If that's not too much trouble.
Yeah. Give me a second.
You have to sign up for it, and by the way, everybody that signs up will get free tacos at Robo when you're done.
Even realize that.
Good enough incentive.
Okay.
So under the bulletin will be kind of upcoming things, announcements. This has already happened. This is it. So need 50 volunteers. I don't know how many they have, but I just got the update for today, kind of what their game plan is. And on the website, here is the form you can use to still sign up. So there's options for, in fact, I'll just, yeah, about the project, and then like your email and what you could bring, basic stuff. Yeah. So that's still available to sign up.
Is this being done by the city or is it the neighborhood?
It's in partnership with the Highland Park neighborhood. Yeah, the city is, I think, they're the ones actually providing the plants. So I want to get in on that. I would like to see what they can offer in general as well. So.
Now, Lainey DeYoung is in charge of, she's the brain behind all of it. And of course, she is a owner of Robo, but she used to be a resident of Glen before she moved. So
Big time.
we can
Yep.
claim her and her idea. But anyway, their idea is to stop planting invasives all over everything that the city owns and to plant native plants. So they're pushing it in their neighborhood and in the world.
And again, shout out to Charles and Ronald for cutting down that on Nandina.
Yes.
Oh.
It's very nice.
Oh, yeah, I love it. Sorry, did I cut you off, Counselor?
No, I
Okay.
just wanted everybody to know that it's, some of us know her, some of us I'm sure don't, but you know, she's the one, she met with us, I was probably a year and a half ago with the idea that you know, the city got some encouragement to plant native plants rather than invasives from other countries, so even though they're beautiful, they're invasive. Plus, they want butterflies and caterpillars and other things to come live with us, in addition to bees. There are lots of other bugs that we need, and so they're into bugs, and they want to attract as many of them as possible, just not roaches.
Yep. If anything, the birds that will come as a result of the increased pollinators would help us, would help eat roaches, yeah. Okay, so, recycling, one of our recyclings, of course, has already happened. This, yeah, happened last week, so our next one is May 15th. Our trash and brush is May 31st. Does anybody else have any announcements that they would like to make? Of any other upcoming events? Okay, hearing none, do I hear any motions to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Any abstentions? Y'all have a great night. Love it.